to the side and back. My name is Tokika Uzuru, also known as Toki, that is Lucky but with a T, Toki, and today is the long-awaited Disney vs. Origins for Sleeping Beauty. And for such occasion, I have with me right now some English rose tea. One, because I like English rose tea. Two, because the original character for Sleeping Beauty was named Briar Rose in the source material and was nicknamed Briar Rose in the movie. Now, of course, I also do have my water bottle over there that I just refilled this morning after doing my workout. So the way I'm going to do it this time is I'm going to give you a summary of the movie, and while using the points that I've written down, I will go ahead and tell you how it differs from the original source material or the story that I read in this book. So without further ado, and no more interruptions, let's get started. So we start off both the book and the movie with a king and queen wanting a child. They were wishing and begging, and by some miracle in the movie, they ended up having a girl. But in the book, it was a frog that granted their wish and grant them a daughter by the end of the year. In the movie, the king held a holiday for the birth of his daughter, Aurora, and invited everyone in the kingdom. Because even everyone else was like, I hope they end up having an heir to the throne. I want him to have a kid. However, in the book, the king was definitely very happy that he had a daughter, but only had certain people go to the celebration of their daughter's birth. In the book, they named Briar Rose, but you don't realize that until like almost the end of the story. So among all of the people that went to go ahead and see Princess Aurora, little baby Princess Aurora, were the three good fairies: Flora, Fauna, and Merryweather, who tried to give her gifts. I say tried, and there's a reason for it. Now in the book, yeah, it was definitely 13 wise women that were supposed to be there, supposed to be invited. However, the 13th one was like kind of left out because the king only had like 12 golden plates for them. So he was like, oh yeah, I don't need the 13th wise woman. And as the three good fairies, the 12 wise women gave her each a gift. Well, again, tried to give her each one gift. In both the book and the movie, the last one, which would be the third good fairy, Merryweather, or the 12th wise woman, were interrupted before they were able to give Aurora, Briar Rose, their gift for her. And as the 13th wise woman, which we will now be naming Maleficent, came in, interrupted the entire soiree just to go ahead and be angry that she wasn't invited. Now again, in the book, there's a reason why she wasn't invited. She wouldn't have a plate because the king only had 12 gold plates. But in the movie, she was also known as the bad fairy, or bad sorceress. So nobody wanted to go ahead and invite her to anything. So the 13th wise woman, otherwise known as Maleficent, decided she wasn't going to go ahead and be bitter about it. No! She decided to go ahead and also give... Ooh, what are you doing? I'm probably going to end up leaving this in the video. There is a police car. I see a policeman. My entire being is wanting to go ahead and just duck. If you don't know what's happening in the world in general, oh, there's two police cars. No. Oh no, there are two police cars. If you don't know what's happening in the world and why I'm a bit fearful for my life right now, I might end up making a video about that. Now, the 13th wise woman, otherwise known as Maleficent, or Mal for short, she wasn't going to go ahead and be bitter about it. No. She decided to go ahead and give the little bundle of joy a gift as well. What she ended up doing was just putting a spell on the baby, the infant, the bab, where in the book it was her 15th birthday, but in the movie it was before sundown on the 16th birthday. She was supposed to go ahead and prick her finger on the needle of a spindle. And if you don't know what a spindle is, here you go. Both in the story, in the original source material, and the movie, she was supposed to die after pricking her finger on the spindle. Disney did not cut that out. But, however, here's where the difference lies. In the source material, or the story, the 12th wise woman was like, you know what, I can't undo this spell. However, I can lighten the blow a bit by making it so that when she pricked her finger, instead of just dying instantly, she was supposed to fall asleep for 100 years. In the movie, however, Merryweather, the third good fairy, kind of did a similar thing, where she was like, you know what, I can't take away the spell, I can't undo the spell, however, I can lighten the blow a bit, in which she will fall into a death-like slumber. In the movie, they said that only true love's kiss will be able to break the spell. There's a kind of a bit of a loophole in the story or source material that I will get to later. So now we're going to go ahead and just talk straight about the movie, because the movie is 1 hour and 17 minutes. It had to add filler. So the king ordered everyone to burn every spinning wheel or spindle right then and there, just to make sure that she didn't end up doing that earlier than she did. He didn't want that to happen at all, but it was bound to happen. And the three good fairies ended up coming up with a grand idea. Let's go ahead and fix up that old abandoned cottage in the woods and raise her there as Briar Rose. But also just to make sure that Maleficent doesn't end up catching their scent or their essence, they were supposed to raise Briar Rose, formerly known as Aurora, without magic for 16 years. And after at least 15 years of absolute failure with her goons, Maleficent ended up just sending out her crow to go ahead and search for Briar Rose, formerly known as Princess Aurora. The crow found them, but it took the crow a lot shorter of a time to go ahead and find Briar Rose, formerly known as Aurora, than it did her hacking goons that looked like pigs. Now, rewinding a bit, because there was definitely a lot that I left out there. As just a little tot, a little infant, mind you, she was betrothed to Prince Philip, the son of a family friend. He, as they both grew up, about 15 years later, ends up meeting Aurora in the middle of the woods while she was supposed to be picking berries, because that's what her three good fairies, fairy godmothers, what she then called aunts, well, told her to do, nudged her in the way of doing. So they meet up. At first she's scared. She starts warming up to him. She doesn't know that that was the person she was betrothed to marry. That's where the problem starts. They fall in love. dance around. I Know You, I've Met With You Once Upon a Dream, which is one of my favorite old school Disney songs. Then she runs away and back to the cottage. The three good fairies, or her aunts as she called them, was setting up a birthday party for her and decided to use magic this time because she was going to be back in any second. They had to clean up the mess that they made with trying to go ahead and bake the cake and sew the dress without magic. Then having to go ahead and actually make the dress, bake the cake, and have everything ready by the time Rose, I'm gonna call her Rose now, was supposed to get home. They succeeded. She is surprised. Then she tells them that she fell in love with a stranger in the middle of the woods. They tell her, you can't marry that stranger in the middle of the woods. She gets sad because she can't marry the stranger that she fell in love with in the middle of the woods. They go take her back to the castle because that's exactly what they were supposed to do, take her back by sunset so that she can go ahead and get married to the person that she was betrothed to, Prince Philip, who she by some chance ended up meeting in the middle of the woods and fell in love with, but now she's angry because she can't marry the stranger that she fell in love with in the middle of the woods, who she doesn't know isn't actually a stranger. So knowing how upset she was, the three good fairies decided to go ahead and give her some space and leave the room, which was a bad idea from the start. As she's boo-hooing at her vanity, she ends up seeing a green ball of fire, which originally came from Maleficent because she found out exactly where they were. She saw that she was supposed to be coming home that day. She was like, all right, I'm gonna catch this girl. She's gonna go ahead and prophecy shall be. She used the green fireball to lure Princess Aurora, we're going with that one now because she's back home, over to the last spindle that was actually in the castle. And so she pricks her finger, and just as prophecy told, she falls flat on the floor, and she is now in a deep sleep. The three good fairies find her because they were chasing after her. Find her on the floor. And it's like, okay, we got stuff we gotta get done. They put her in the bed, put a cover over her. This is not the stuff that they actually show in the movie. And then they decide to put like the entire town, the entire kingdom to sleep. Until Flora heard the family friend, King Hubert. It is King Hubert, by the way. Spill the beans on Prince Philip's whereabouts. And the only reason why Flora knew where they were supposed to go or where he was going was Once Upon a Dream, which I did mention earlier. They flew as fast as they possibly could to get to the cottage. And by the time they get there, Prince Philip has already been captured, kidnapped by Maleficent and her goons. So the three good fairies decided to go ahead and decided that they had a job to do. One, they had to save Prince Philip, but they can only do good type magic. They can't hex anybody, they can't curse anybody, they can't put malicious spells on anybody. They literally ended up turning rocks into bubbles, boulders into bubbles, and arrows into flowers. So if that mini rant didn't tell you, yeah, they were able to save Prince Philip. They were able to get him out of the dungeon where he was sitting. and ended up getting the attention of Maleficent. She got angry. Now I'm gonna go ahead and give it to Maleficent in this movie. She actually tried to make sure that all of her T's were crossed and all of her I's were dotted. She tried to make sure that no one was going to be having a good day that day. She even went so far as to try to put an entire barrier of thorn bushes around the castle, as well as attacking Prince Philip, first with her magic, her green balls of fire, and then she just ended up turning into a dragon. So he had to slay the dragon. And he did. And he gets through the thorn bush barrier as well. So now I'm gonna go ahead and tell you why it was a thorn bush. Because we're adding back in the original source material. In the story, when Briar Rose actually pricks her finger on the spinning wheel, she does fall. There's a bed in the room. Her parents were gone, by the way. She was unsupervised. She found the one last spindle in the castle, pricked her finger. Well, now she's about to go to sleep, and falls on the bed. But her sleep was apparently so strong, she ended up putting the entire castle ground to sleep as well. And everything froze in time for 100 years. Until this one unseeming prince ends up walking his way into there. The thorn bushes that grew and that decided to go ahead and protect the entire castle. Everyone, by the way, forgot that there was ever a princess, by the way. Like, it became a fairy tale. The thorn bushes moved out the way for this here prince, which there were so many people that tried and ended up dying in the middle of the thorn bushes. He opened the door. He saw everything frozen in time, and so he tried to go find the princess. He smooches the princess, which, by the way, necrophilia. And then everything, as if the time started ticking again, came back to life. Was not frozen in time. It looked like it thawed. Everything was happening, moving, thriving. The cook ended up getting his ears slapped off. The prince and Briar Rose ended up getting married. What, immediately? And that's how the story ends. Going back to the movie. So we left off when Prince Philip was trying to slice his way through thorn bushes, got into the kingdom, saw everyone frozen and, well, not frozen in time, but asleep, went up to wherever Princess Aurora was, and once again, necrophilia kissed her, woke her up, woke up the entire kingdom, by the way. I would have been grumpy. And then they decided to go ahead and celebrate with a ball. Not just any type of ball. It was Aurora's birthday. They decided to go ahead and have one of those Disney type, there's so many people up in there type ball. Right after everyone woke up. Cut, roll credits. Although, again, this is one of the Disney movies where the credits were at the beginning. So, as I said earlier, there were definitely more similarities between the original source material or story and the Disney animated movie. One, she wasn't named Briar Rose, or she was named Briar Rose originally in the source material. But they ended up paying an homage to the name Briar Rose by giving her that name while she was living in the cottage. There was also the other homage to the thorn bushes that surrounded the entire kingdom in the movie, and the thorn bush that decided to grow all over the castle as in like a protection thing to keep everyone else out for 100 years as everyone in that castle slept. Right, there was also something else that I thought was very funny. They don't tell you the queen's name in the movie, but I went to go ahead and search up King Hubert's name, and I saw Queen Leia. So there you go. It was King Stefan and Queen Leia, and that's about it. I am done with. That's a close on another story. Or Disney versus Origins. We interrupt your video with a stereotypical YouTuber outro voiceover edition because my video ended abruptly in the middle of doing it when I recorded this. So, please like if you liked it. Comment down below more ideas for Disney versus Origins or other mystical ideas. Share this to anyone who you think might like the content, and subscribe for more. Once you have subscribed though, please turn on the notification bell and switch it to all notifications just to make sure that you are here for the next video when I post it. This has been VoiceOver Toki, signing out.